Welcome to Brother Owl's Garden. I'm delighted to have you here, and I'm very delighted to have, as a first time appearance, a new guest coming to us from Pennsylvania. Please welcome a new friend of mine, Lisa Wehler. She is a mystic, a seer, a channel. She's someone who has insight and vision and knowledge and understanding that most of us do not. And so I have openly welcomed her to the platform, which I will turn over to her now to share of her gifts. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm very impressed with all of the topics that you talk about, and some are very resonant to me. And I contacted you because I thought you were on point so many times. Uh, and today we're going to, and what that means for now. And just to give a little background of what I do, I'm able to see into other realms. I am able to take my consciousness and put it in other realms on this planet. And there are things being created here. There are new templates being brought down here. And they're the templates for our creation, our collective consciousness creation. These are sort of like they're brought here by our desire to change, but they're also brought here from whatever you think source is, whatever you think creator is. And we are just an idea in the creator's mind. And this is an idea of what we could be. And these templates are this new template is based on unity, harmony, joy, abundance, courage, love, and compassion. And everything we do is going to express through these base tenets. So, what's going to happen is that we have sort of an old system here that's going to fall away. And this new system is going to be available to you. But we see what the controllers are doing with 15-minute cities, social credit systems. And if you don't know what any of these are, please look them up. There's not time to talk about all of this negative, dark, very controlling technology. There's also brain chip implants that will control our very thoughts. And we're not creating this. The people on this planet that are a part of this planet, that are the original souls here, are the creators of this planet, of this reality. The controllers are not. They are not from here. So they have to get us to create the world that they want to live in. And I just think that we are headed towards some very dark times. And if we don't say no, if we don't say we don't want this, we desire something else, we're never going to work with this new template. We're just going to go down the road with the old system. And I don't think that I want that old system. I don't want it for this planet. I don't want it for my friends. I don't want it for my town. And basically, we need to say no. I think RFK Jr. said it correct. You cannot comply your way out of tyranny. You can't say, "Oh, I have to take this brain chip because, I have to interface with all my coworkers, and I have to be a good citizen." But we have to say no to these things, and I think that's what you're getting at is we do not comply with this old system. And right, what does non-compliance look like for you? What do you think noncompliance in this world could look like?
So we've begun to lay the framework for our conversation, being that you use the term the controllers.
Mhm.
I could ask more about that, but I want to address your question first up front. What does noncompliance look like? I suppose the only legitimate answer I could give you is what my personal experience of
Okay.
non-compliance thus far has looked like. And it's imperfect, like anybody else's would be, I suppose. But I have done nearly all that I can do to not be beholden to the matrix, the system that has been, you can use the terms creeping enslavement, creeping indoctrination, um, all of those things. And, everything is also done sort of like in salami slicing method, just a little bit more of your freedom and
Yeah.
liberty and independence and self governance gone. But don't worry, this is fun and
And
easy
it's good for you.
and it's good for you. And better than all of that, it's trendy because we know that inside a huge majority of humans, or at least, okay, I'll just say a huge number of human beings, are disconnected, lost, and seeking externally validation, inclusion, belonging, and even more specifically, likes. They
And
want
and that's
that.
a manipulated state.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
feel I feel awful, especially for the younger generations. Of course, I'm in my late 20s, so I can refer to them as that, right?
Yeah.
So, but the younger generations have been born into this crap to the point where they
Mhm.
don't have a reference. They didn't know it without this. They didn't know it before this.
Mhm.
Um, you and I and those older than us, they do. They have seen this happening over the decades. They have a broad enough reference point to say, oh, I see the bigger game that's going on here. Whereas the younger ones don't. What have I done personally? I haven't owned a smartphone for 11 years.
Yeah.
I left the United States. I don't live there anymore. Now, I know that some people will not resonate with what I'm saying, or they will disagree, or they will say that's foolish, or I would never do that, or I think that that's a biased opinion, etc. Fine, be you. Enjoy your experience in this
Mhm.
matrix as you navigate it. But this is what I've done. Um, haven't owned a vehicle for a decade. I've just tried to not be entangled in obligations and debts and owing and being controlled by or obligated by systems. And to the extent that I have been thus able to do without and live without. Now, I'm not, some incredibly accomplished prepper or somebody who is, has got 15 years of living alone in a cave in the mountains under the belt. I'm
Right.
I'm softer and needier than I wish I was. But within the scope of my own personal ability, I have done all I can to not participate. I have stayed out
Right.
of a lot of the conventions and trappings, and I really use that word deliberately, trappings
Yeah.
of modern
Good word.
humanity. Um, of course, I know that a smartphone can be a lifesaver, and it can also be convenient, and it can even be fun. Of course, I know that, but it's a leash, and you're a slave. And so I have
Well, I,
cut
I
those
I
shackles
think
off.
it's about I think it is about setting boundaries. I
Yeah,
mean, these people are highly narcissistic. They're they're so fearful of us. Why would they have to come up with all these systems to control us? They fear us. They fear what that we will create them out of it, our existence. And that's what we're going to do. We're
Yeah.
going to not comply with the system. You can't work with the old system and say, okay, well, if I just take this brain chip, I'm going to be okay. Okay, if I just do this, I'm going to be okay. You can't do that. You can't comply with this. You
No, no,
must
no. And
take a different path.
I very much appreciate that you brought up Kennedy's quote, "You can't comply your way out of tyranny." That reminds
Yes.
me of Churchill's quote, "An appeaser is someone who feeds the crocodile, hoping it will eat him last." You know,
Yes, that's not, all this appeasing is not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to get you feeding into the old system constantly. And and what do we do to not feed this old system? We're going to have to make a few sacrifices. I mean, if you have a job in a munitions factory or you make guns or whatever, it's like maybe you might want to reconsider how you make your money. Maybe you might want to go off grid. Maybe you might want to take um, your kids out of school and homeschool them and sacrifice your time to do that. Non-compliance is going to look differently for different people. I mean, some of us have always been non-compliant our whole lives and not been able to work with the system and just said, this is not for me. And, I know for myself, I felt very lonely with that way because if everyone's over there doing something and you don't agree with it, that's hard because we're herd animals and they know that.
yeah.
They know
Well,
that.
Lisa, let me tell you. You mentioned before. Well, there's so many things coming up. Um,
Okay.
what's right is right, even if nobody else is doing it, and what's wrong is wrong, even if everybody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And you mentioned before they're afraid of it, the controllers, the manipulators, the tyrants of the world.
Why else would they do it? Why else would they want to try to? Why else would they tell us what they're going to do?
Right,
And by that there's a reason why they tell you 15-minute cities, the brain chips, everything.
right.
There's a reason. It's to get your consent. Because if
But
you don't say no,
I have to put in another element into that pot of soup. Yes, they're afraid of us if we, one at a time, individually, as a collective, not only awaken, but stand up and act. Now, this may sound negative, or it might not be all cotton candy after I say this, okay? But I think that they're counting on us not doing that. And as much
that's right.
as we can see that more and more and more people, you know, are awakening globally, still there are far too many who not only are not awake, but will not be awake by their choice or by their inability, and also a staggering number who do not want to awaken. They don't want to, blue pill kind of stuff. They
And
can't be bothered.
let's not be judgmental of that. The earth is a template and it's whatever you want to create. And there are some that they may go that direction and we may be seeing these things come into our reality, into our fruition. But there is also this other template available that you begin to resonate with more, that you start to work with more, that is available. I think most people, even psychic people, even leaders within our spiritual community, can't see that this is here for us. They can't see it. And I'm just here to tell you that it's here. We're going to work with these base energies. But the most important thing is not to comply with the old. And I am not proposing any kind of violence whatsoever. I am for this does not have to be violent, although it may express itself as violence sometimes. I am not proposing violence because what you resist persists. In a way, we have to kind of ignore these things and just work with this. Work with what you know is right. Work with your responsibility, with your integrity, with your sovereignty. And that's what gets you out of this old system. The new earth is not going to appear unless we want it. We make it. We make decisions that affect this planet every day.
Let me respond. First of all, you said let's not be judgmental. I am just stating an
Yeah.
observation. I'm stating what I see without evaluating it or packaging it for anybody. I see a lot of people that are waking up, and I see a lot of people that would like to wake up but really so far can't. And then I see a lot of people who are not going to wake up. And then I see a lot of people who don't want to wake up. And all of those are individual choices, but also
Mm-hmm.
I understand I am a single man. I'm a hermit. I live a life very different from most people. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
5 kids. I don't have a high profile status job at the firm that I've worked my entire life to attain. And I am more able, but there's a lot that are able that won't choose. But I also acknowledge that I have chosen a life where my sovereignty and my freedom are priorities above all else. I'm not interested in material gain. Enough to be fairly comfortable, enough. That's it, just enough. But they're
Mm-hmm.
not my priorities. And I also acknowledge fully that I am immeasurably, and perpetually and abundantly blessed and gifted with so many things that allow me to live this way, which I am
Well, you've
very grateful.
created your own life to fit in with your principles and your desires. And I think that there's a lot of people who don't even think of that. It doesn't cross their mind that they create their own
Well,
lives, that they can do their own things.
you know what, Lisa? I think, and a lot of us are going to resonate with this. Um, and I'm not. This is not judgment, but I'm also not sugarcoating anything. I don't do that. Um, I've noticed that a great number of people live their lives according to what they think other people think they should do. What we think they think we should do. That's the code. And boy, is that the wrong road to go down. But
Well, that's a
we'll learn
complete
from it.
manipulation as well. It's a complete manipulation. It starts at birth, and we are just we're manipulated by everything every day. And it takes a while to get out of that box.
Sure
And
does.
all of these things that we were seeing, all the things I had mentioned, the 15-minute cities, the lockdowns, the BCI chip, the social credit system, these are all going to be catalysts for us. Like how much do you need to see before you say no? Before you say no to the one world government system that they want us to adopt? And trust me, it's going that way.
I'm
I mean,
I'm all on board. I'm
I
all on
see
board with you.
these tactics that once you wake up, you sort of see these tactics and you see the manipulation and you see the highly narcissistic place that these controllers are coming from.
Yeah.
And you're going to decide that you don't want to be a victim anymore. You're going to decide that. And it may require some kind of sacrifice from you. It may require that. It may require that you do not play into the systems, that you, if your job requires you to get a brain chip, you're not going to do that. You're going to go do something else. And
Yeah.
we're going to be seeing these two worlds at the same time. We're going to see the old manipulated world, and we're going to be seeing this new thing that's coming for us.
So
And
two timelines together.
there is no destruction timeline. We're seeing a lot of changes on the earth right now, but we've lived here for millions of years, and we've survived through millions of these cataclysms, and we're still here. And nobody likes change. And the earth is changing on many, many levels. And if you wanted to change in the direction of unity, harmony, joy, abundance, uh, courage, love, and compassion, you're going to have to welcome those energies. They're available to you. This new template is available to whomever wants to take it, whether you are an original creator of this planet, or you're a guest here, or you're even a controller. If you want that, if you want to develop that heart mind coherence, if you want to go into that state, you can.
I think, Lisa, that one of the main reasons why many people have not gone into that yet is this programmed belief or this supposition that's conditioned in deep into the unconscious mind. And this belief would be stated as obedience is virtuous. If I
Oh, yeah.
obey, then
Oh,
I
yeah.
am virtuous.
Oh, yeah. If you obey everything, then you're safe.
Yeah, and we saw during the we'll say the cough, uh, you
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
these
Yeah. Yeah.
people coming out, they call them Karens, um, you better do this, you better stay apart, that you better put
Oh,
up.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
There was a lot of that here.
yeah, and
Yeah.
those are the people that seem to have doubled down on that belief that obedience
Everything
is
they tell you
compliance.
is correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obedience or compliance is virtuous.
Mhm.
I look at how good a person I am. See, I put it on my Facebook badge. You see, I'm wearing the sticker. I had, it reminds me of the Seinfeld episode with Kramer when he was doing the AIDS walk, and they were registering everyone doing the AIDS walk, and they're like, "Okay, here's your ribbon." He's like, "No, I don't want it." But you have to wear the ribbon. See, that's why
Yeah.
I don't want to wear it.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Great
Well,
episode, by the way. If you
we're gonna see that with these next phases. We're gonna see all that, and we're gonna ignore it.
So
We're gonna ignore what we don't want, and we are gonna welcome what we do want.
I'm glad you reminded me about that. Um, I've mentioned before, I think it was in the episode on evil in particular, I remember saying it. It it's a spiritual guideline or reality or rule of how things work energetically. It is more effective and more efficient to cultivate and propagate what you want, what you love, as opposed to battling what you don't want or what you oppose. So it's not to say that there isn't ever a battle or there isn't ever a fight. That's not realistic. But what I'm saying is it is energetically and spiritually more effective and efficient to feed what you love rather than battle and rail against what you're against, what you oppose. And
Well,
I think
I
Casper
always
agrees.
tell I
He keeps
always
jumping up.
tell my clients that you have to follow your joy,
Mm,
and that is your spiritual direction in your life, and you that's where you go. If
kind
you
of like
follow
a
your joy.
GPS, a built-in spiritual
Yeah.
GPS. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is your mission on this planet, is to do what you want to do. and follow your joy. Um, if I had somebody recently, she came to me and she's very unhappy. Um, and I said, you know what, you haven't set your rudder to where you want to go. You just go to whoever pays you the most money or whoever does this, and you're not acting on your desire. And I think that's all we have to do is act on our desire. I believe in the basic goodness of most people. I believe that most people don't want to have a war with me. Most people don't want to harm me. I believe in that basic goodness. And I believe that this is how we starve the darkness out of us.
Yeah.
This is how we 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 just starve these controllers. I mean, they're just going to be laying in a puddle of their own making and with all their little tools around them crying because
Yeah.
they're not going to be successful here.
It's like at the zoo, the sign that says, please don't feed the bears. So my saying is, please don't feed the archons. In other
Yeah,
words,
yeah,
do not
yeah.
provide luge and compliance and conformity and obedience to their dark agenda. And this requires courage. I could have given you an answer. What does non-compliance look like? I could have said courage, but
Mhm.
you know, eh, instead
It's
of
the opposite of fear.
yeah, courage. Like the lion,
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz said,
Mhm.
"Woof."
Right.
So we do, but courage doesn't mean fearlessness. Of course, we've all heard it before that true courage is action in the face of fear. Okay, you're afraid,
Right.
you act anyway on what you know
Right.
is
Exactly.
right, what is pono, the word I
Well,
love to
you
use.
have to come from your integrity.
Yeah, yeah, you know what is righteous, proper, correct, good, true,
Mhm.
aligned, and that I'll just use the word again, pono, the Hawaiian word pono, Pono. That's all those things that word means. You know what is pono, and you know when you're out of alignment. You know when you're out of your integrity. And a lot
You
of
know.
yeah, a lot of people. I don't know if you ever saw the meme, I guess you would call it, during the whole cough cough stuff going on.
Mhm.
There was a
Mhm.
meme that said, if you ever wondered where you would have stood in 1939 Germany, now you know.
Right. Right.
And there's a lot of people that don't want to hear that, but now you know, because that type of a nature of situation was imposed upon you. And how did you respond? And a lot have awakened after having responded in a way they wish they didn't. But there's also some that are, holding on. Nope. Okay, so
We've
you've
learned a
charted your
lot from
course.
COVID. We learned a lot from COVID. Someone showed me a short little reel of how people were acting during that pandemic, and now people are looking back on that. It's like we all went crazy. We all went nuts. Like what was that about? And I think we're seeing the manipulation of the system.
There is a
And
phenomenal channel that I recommend on YouTube. It's called Academy of Ideas. I hope everyone will check this out. Academy of Ideas. And they did an episode some time ago called, mass psychosis. And they touch on
Mhm.
a lot of these things in that channel. And I highly recommend it. It was a global mass psychosis. And a large percentage, let's say 80%, went for it or were swept up in it, maybe is a nicer way to say. And yeah, we
Well,
did go crazy.
the controllers are giving this is a system, and you can just look at the system that they give you the problem, they get you to react to the problem, and they give you the one solution. And of course, that one solution is going to be the most manipulated thing.
Yep.
And I'm worried. Well, I'm not really worried about this because I think there's too many people with too much information out there that the UFO trials, I mean, this is obviously a sham. This is just a show. This is this is going to be problem, reaction, solution again, and it's going to be a very narrow idea of what UFOs are. And I don't know if they're going to be able to create this in our environment right now, but they're trying. They're trying something with this ridiculous thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I think they want to pull in a threat, a danger, just like COVID was a threat. They want you to react, and the solution is a one world government. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be successful with this one or not. I honestly have to say, it's up to us whether they are successful or not. Whether we whether the things that they're giving us and showing us, whether they'll be successful with it or not, is really up to us.
Yeah.
Come on, if aliens, whatever they said, wanted to take us over and they have all this fabulous technology and they've been here all this time, they'd have done it.
Yeah.
They'd have done it.
Well,
So
I think something you
use your head. Use your head.
I think something you have to be very, very uh, cognizant of. You said, there's a problem, then there's a reaction, then there's a provided solution. Okay,
Yes.
the quote unquote solution, just to clarify a little bit, the quote unquote solution is the entire point of it all in the first place.
Yes,
And
exactly.
and as the late great James Belcher of the United States Army, who was stationed in Japan after
Mm-hmm.
the war, he was there during the occupation phase. He said, if you ever want to know what's really going on, do not look at the event, look at the result. So
Mm-hmm.
the result is where they're starting from. We want it to be this. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to conjure this kind of a reaction. And so we need this kind of a trigger. So the problem
Right.
is provided in order for the hoped for reaction, which is most probable. And
Mm-hmm.
then the masses, the unwitting masses are meant to beg and plead for the solution, such as, oh, I don't know, I'll just pull a random scenario out of my hat. I don't know, a global fiat currency economic collapse. And
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God, we cannot go one day without that system in place. So uh, let's get, I don't know, a central bank digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
Put your
All of that.
shackles on now, folks, if you get into that.
Right.
I mean, this is just
Right.
a hypothetical scenario that I just randomly pulled out of the ethers as an example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's so many more. There's so many more. The social credit system. How about the social credit system, which is absolutely shackles? If you know anything about
Oh,
what's
oh,
going on in China,
yeah.
that's
Look
the
that up
model.
on the internet. There's lots of videos that will show you what this is.
Yeah. There's the China social credit system is the model,
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
and the West,
Absolutely.
the West is is rolling it out in spades. The West has bigger ideas than what China is doing, and in China, if you have the wrong political opinion, you'll just be
Oh yeah,
blocked.
yeah. You get less money in your
Well,
paycheck.
now you're getting into the UBI, the universal basic
Yeah.
income, which non-thinking people will say, "Oh, yay, free money, I'll take it." And thinking people
Mhm.
will realize it's handcuffs because it creates dependency. And also
Yeah.
this CBDC currency that they're going to roll out expires and can be shut off at any time, meaning your access to it or its presence in your account. can just be whoop.
Why would you comply to that? Why would you think that that is such a good thing for everybody? Like we're going to have to work with our compassion on this one too. Why would you think that's good for you and good for everybody else? Like we're going to have to use our compassion and say, no, there's a limit. There's a limit. You know, with every narcissistic relationship, that moment when you say no is when they're going to flip out. And when we say no, they are going to flip out. But we're just going to get the popcorn and watch
Yeah.
because we're going to be working with this system and not this system.
You know, Lisa, the way that they the way that they present it though is it's gradual, it's incremental, it's salami
Oh yeah,
slice.
they got Jay-Z's kids with the brain chip, and it's all cool, and it's like
Right.
your phone looks like ridiculous technology, and this brain chip is going to be so cool,
Yeah.
and you're going to need this thing to interface with your office. You're going to need it to get paid. You're going to need it. You know what? Like when? At what point are you going to say no, though? At what point? And I think as things heat up, as the frog heats up in the water, that scenario, as things heat up, people are going to get to certain levels where they're going to say no.
And therein lies the power of no. But
Yeah.
we also have to we have to be balanced and and upfront and honest that compliance has a price and non-compliance has a price. Choose which one you wish to pay, because one of the tactics that they love to use is, oh, this isn't mandatory. It's not like you're being ordered to do this. But then what they do
Right.
is they make it so difficult
Difficult.
to
Well,
not.
I run a small business, so I have they have made it incredibly difficult to run a small business, and I'm still doing it because I'm a creator. I create my own reality. I create my own business. I people walk into my store, they think they're in another place because I created it. It's so different. There's no Wi-Fi there. There's people talking about spiritual stuff in my store all the time. There's just we can create this. We're creators. We can create what we want, and it's going to work because they're not creators. You are. Therein lies your power. They
They
can do
are
all this crazy
dependent.
stuff they want. Your ability, look where you are. You created your own life from your principles because you didn't want this, right? You didn't want the life that they were handing out. So you said, no, I don't want that life. I'm going to make my own life. You have a roof over your head. You're not starving. You know, like you've met the necessary requirements for your body to survive. Like, what more do we need? Do
And
you need
or,
seven houses?
oh
Like,
gosh, no, no. What I
you
need is
know.
simplicity, freedom, and peace.
Mhm.
Everything else is sugar on top. I'll do fine without
That's
it.
right. Well, this is what we want. This is our collective desires are going to make this new earth that everyone's talking about. It doesn't, we're not going to just wake up one day and we're going to be in our light bodies flying around and that this is unrealistic expectations. You have to work on yourself. You have to master your emotions. You have to call more of your soul into you. There's, work with all of these internet shamans. Most of them have your best intention in mind, and you work on yourself. You become the person that you want to be, not the person you're told to be. And you're going to be okay. And you're going to create what you want to see in your world. we don't we, we don't work with this old control system. And the less we work with it, the less we want it, the more they die. And if everybody on this planet just woke up one day and said, I'm not going to work today,
Mhm.
what would happen? They would absolutely sputter out and that it would be gone.
Yeah.
Everything would be gone. That's not
Yeah.
realistic. That people have responsibilities other than themselves. And, some people live day to day on whatever they get. And they can't do that. And I understand that. But at the same time, there, I'm told, psychically, I'm told this, that as some of us rise and some of us work with that system and we become whole with this new template, we will carry the others there too. The ones that can't do this. You in a way, Brian, we're very privileged that we have a life that we can explore these topics, be psychic. Uh, we have unencumbered ourselves of children or other responsibilities, and we live in such a way that we can do this work. And there are others that cannot.
Yep.
And it's up to us to carry that light for them, to carry that torch for them, those who do desire this but cannot quit the system. It's
Yeah.
up to the people that can do this,
Yeah.
that and we will carry these others with us.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you emphasize that point. Of course, I totally agree with it, and I've been champing at the bit to just reaffirm and re-emphasize. We talked about how we've, lifestyle design, how we've chosen according to our priorities to build the life we want to live. I do not take or presume any credit for that at all. I consider it to be alignment and divine providence. I am upheld, sustained, and kept by divine source in a way that years ago I never even knew was a possibility. And I acknowledge it and I resonate thankfulness for it constantly. Even when I forget, I snap back out of that and I say, no, I am profoundly blessed and provided for. It's already mine. And I am extremely thankful. And what I have also learned is that the more that you are given, that you share with others, the more of a conduit for that blessing you become. And that's why, drum roll, please. One of the greatest quotes that ever hit me, and I've said it in other episodes, we are gifted the gift of gifting the gifts we are gifted. It's a gift to be able to gift the gifts you've been gifted. Where is the me in that when you examine it? You're just a catalyst of blessings, abundance. And so the more you engage that gift of being able to give, the more you are given in order to give more. And
Yeah.
you're never left out of it. And it's absolutely not selfish, but it serves you too. In the end, when it comes full circle, you're just channeled more through you. More gifts are directed to you because, oh, we got a live one. This one lives in.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. May your name be among the righteous in heaven for that. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful example of what we need to be. And that is working with the new template.
Tell us in conclusion for the last few minutes, tell us a more detailed picture of what this new template, well, how it was given to you, how you came to have it,
Oh,
how
it's
you
not
come.
mine. It's
Well, what
not
I
mine.
mean is
The collective.
it's
Yeah. The
coming to us through
collective.
you though, but it's coming to
Mhm.
us through you. So let us know more
I can
about what it
see it.
is.
I see it. I see it. in another realm. I have this strange ability to walk in different realms on this earth with my consciousness and out in the universe with my consciousness. And these energies were brought to the planet basically by people like you who desire them. Your desire creates. So this is the realm. It was very dirty. It was very infected. It was very, very sick. And it was cleaned. And these are like higher executive realms that the earth uses to help us with our ascension, our evolution, whatever you want to call what we're doing here on this planet. And these energies have been brought from other collectives, from other planets. And they're pure energies. They're not corrupt in any way. So if we use them, there's not going to be a bad side effect or something, or you owe something, or you've done something wonderful, but that you owe a debt to this dark system. We're not going to do that anymore. These energies are pure, they're uncorruptible. So anything we do, say if we decide we're not going to comply, it's going to be non-compliance through the base energies of unity, harmony, joy, abundance, courage, love, and compassion. We are going to express ourselves through these foundational energies. And if you want to get on that system, we're not going to comply with the old. And that's what our message is here today. It's about non-compliance and about what you want and what you desire for yourself. It's out there. We manifest individually and we manifest collectively. And we are going to collectively manifest this new earth concept into being through these energies. And I'm here to tell you today that this is absolutely real. This is absolutely built and it's absolutely there for you to grab. But you have to use your integrity, your responsibility to grab it and go get it. It's yours. It's yours for the taking.
And there it is. There it is. We have to get in alignment with our true selves. We have to get in alignment with the light that we know we came from and which we resonate. We have to disallow anything that smothers or compromises that light within us, and let your light shine. And we have to refuse steadfastly to be a part of or participate or even allow within the realm of our control anything that limits, compromises, contaminates, or inhibits that in any way. And that is going to take a lot of courage. And it's not always going to be easy, but it's always going to be right. And I don't think that there will ever be a point at which we look back on it and wish we had done otherwise. I think that no matter how hard or how much of a struggle might be dropped on us for living by these principles, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And we're not going to be a part of this dystopian, global, godless, manipulative tyranny of blech that they're trying to put on us. And, I may sound like I'm on a soapbox right now, but if it is the end of me in this form, in this life, as this person at this time, then so be it.
So be it.
Because
So
I'm
be it.
not
I
going
feel the
down.
same way.
Yeah,
I have seen many of my past lives. I've seen many of my past lives on other planets, and I know we just keep going. But
sure.
this is not the end. This is just we're having a soul. We're a very large soul having a little tiny human experience,
Yeah. But
and
Lisa, to put it in a statement, I will not sacrifice or scuttle the charted course of my soul in exchange for some temporary physical convenience or dodging an unpleasant situation while here on this planet. I won't do it.
And this might be difficult for some people. So that's why I want to tell you that this new system is in place. It's going to work. You just have to desire it. It comes from your desire and it's there for you.
Well, it is there for us. And I hope that maybe some people who were sort of, in need of a little nudge or a little reminder are now encouraged, reinforced with
Perhaps,
courage.
perhaps.
Yeah. We are not slaves. We are
No,
children of
no,
the
we're
divine.
manipulated. We're manipulated, but what's going to break out of that manipulation? And every victim narcissist relationship requires the victim to say no. I will not comply. I will not create what you want to create. I create what I want to create. I am a sovereign being and I I make my own world. I make my own life.
Amen. There it is. I want to thank you, Lisa, and also Casper, who's been hanging out with me the whole time.
Hey, Casper.
He wants
Hey,
he wants to say thank
hey,
you too.
buddy.
Yeah, he's been
Oh,
right here in front of my computer the whole time. And I know that I got to have you back. And I thank you very much for sharing
thank you for
of
the
your.
opportunity to ask me to speak. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well, it's my honor and my pleasure, and I'm sure that we'll increase the number of good souls who will receive what you are offering of yourself to all who will receive it. And so now a few more. And Lisa Wehler, coming from Pennsylvania, I'm so thankful to you for sharing with us today, and we'll definitely have you back. And I want to say thank you, and you're great.
Thank you. We'll talk.
Okay, thank you.